Hi guys, this is episode number 2 by Treasures by Trees. And so, first of all, I wanted to say thank you guys for tuning in on last week. As I said before, I'm going to try to post one video a week. And thank you guys for your comments, your feedback, and all the positive comments that was sent to me. I really appreciate it. And I truly appreciate you guys listening. And so, of course, you know me, I'm not tech savvy. And so, I kind of messed up my page, but now I've been working on it. And so now you're able to find me on YouTube under Treasures by Trees. And also, when you guys are going to watch the video, can you please subscribe? It's the red subscribe, just click that. And if you want to know when I'm going to be posting a new video, just click the notifications, the little bell, and it just lets you know when I'm going to be uploading, and you'll get a notification. But I mean, you can like the video, you can comment on the video, and I truly appreciate you guys listening. And as I said before, you know, Jesus led me to this. This is a platform he wants me on. And, you know, like I said before, I'm pretty sure it's something I'm supposed to say and do to help a person or persons, you know, by doing this podcast. So I wanted to let you guys know that I truly appreciate you listening and all the support. And as I was saying last week, I was telling you a little bit about me. And so my friend Joelle called me out. Hi, Joelle. Just like, you forgot to tell him you're a mom and a grandma. I'm like, Well, yeah, I was going to share that this week. I am a mom to a 28-year-old daughter. And most people, when I tell them that, are like, no, you don't have a 28-year-old because you're 33. No, you know, when you do the math, that's not possible. I'm like, yeah, I kind of do. Yeah, I'm not 33. And so when I say I'm 45, they're shocked because nobody thinks I'm 45. They usually give me about 33 to 35. I'm like, wouldn't that be nice? But who wants to go backwards? And so I am grateful to be 45. And so my daughter is 28 and she's a nurse. And I do have 2 lovely grandkids, Jillian. Hi, Jillian. And she just turned 10 on Tuesday. Happy birthday, sweetheart. And I have Wyatt. He's 1. And I have a son-in-law. They still live in Arkansas, and I'm very grateful for them. I had my daughter very young in high school, and so that's why I only had 1. I had a natural birth. So after that, I'm like, I'm done. So pretty much at 17, I was like, yep, no more kids. And I have no more kids because I knew after that natural birth, I'm like, I'm never doing this again. Nope, that pain, nope. So, and I never really wanted any more kids. In fact, she's quite enough. Yeah. And so I grew up in a very large family. I have 7 siblings. Well, it's 7 of us left. I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers. And so I'm kind of like the middle child. I have 2 sisters above me and 2 below. And so I always grew up with people in the house, you know, so you had to learn how to share. I didn't know anything about growing up as an only child, but I have an only child. So I am so thankful that I had siblings. And, you know, you learn so many things with, you know, when you're like a year apart, everybody's so close at that particular time. And so today, oh my goodness, I am going to be sharing a little bit about life after divorce. What a topic. And so, the people that do know me, they know I was married for 14 years. They know I'm divorced. And so I'm sharing on this podcast, I am divorced. And so I've been divorced for 5 years. And so I grew up in the country. I'm truly a country girl. Truly love the country and so grateful for that upbringing. And so being raised in the country in a small area, it's nothing like Dallas. Like you're very limited. There are not a lot of guys. There are not a lot of fun things to do. So it's basically the country. And so when I met my ex-husband, you know, it seemed fine. You know, he was good enough. Ultimately, that's the truth. And when I met him, I didn't have like the butterflies that I want to have when I meet my person. Like I didn't feel it in my gut. I didn't feel it in my heart. I didn't even think about that type of stuff because he was a good guy. And I'm thinking, you know, he's good enough. He's nice. He's older and, you know, he's good enough. And so we dated, we got married. I got married at 28. And Granted, I did have my concerns because compatibility, you know, he was 13, he is 13 years older than me. I mean 13, yeah, 13 years older. And so I didn't think about that. I'm like, yeah, I like dating older guys because I'm like, they're in my head, they're mature, right? And so that wasn't really an issue like his age or anything, but I think it became an issue when, like, him born in a different generation than I, and then like the compatibility. Like, I feel as though we never was compatible from the beginning. And so I looked over that because I told myself this is not a big deal, because just because you and a person get together and you guys get married, it doesn't mean you have to like the same things. And so I know that today, but compatibility is beyond that, because you have to be compatible emotional, spiritually, sexually, all of it. It matters. And so he didn't even like football or sports. He just, that's not his thing. And I'm like, oh my God, I love my Steelers, like Steeler Nation. And so he just wasn't interested in that type of stuff. Like, we were great business partners, we were great friends, but when it came to being husband and wife, we failed. I mean, he made his mistakes, I made mine. I will not dare say anything bad about him because there's nothing bad to say. I mean, we're good friends. You know, the divorce was amicable. It's just that we wasn't compatible. So when you meet somebody in the beginning, those little things, those little red flags that we tend to look over as women, those are the main things that's going to come back and cause the relationship to fail in most cases, because red flags are there for a reason. They're letting you know. That's your intuition saying, pay attention to that. And also, you have to be your discernment. Something's inside saying, this ain't right, this don't feel right. And I didn't listen because, remember, I'm like, he's good enough. And so, because he was a good guy, because he was a great provider, and he was older and mature, I said, he's a great man. And see, you can be all of those things. You can be a perfect guy, not perfect. You can be a great guy and a good man and still not be the person for an individual. Meaning that because because he's a good guy, a great man, great provider, it does not mean that you're for me, meaning the one that God has for you. And so I did pray before I married him, and I believe wholeheartedly God sent him in my life for a reason and a season, and I'm grateful for that. I have no regrets, because without that divorce, I would not be sitting here talking to you today, and I definitely wouldn't be the woman that I am today. And so it grew me up. Like, getting married at 28, I didn't know how to be a wife. I mean, I'm from the country, so of course I know how to cook. But, there are things wives have to do to tend to their husbands. And so I kind of learned along the way. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And, like I said, it's sometimes in when you're meeting people, like now I pray everybody I meet. I pray, I say, God, hey, if this is not him, get him out of my life quick. I'm talking like in 7 days prayer. Because at 45 years old, you date on a purpose. I am, because I don't have time to waste just dating around and just wasting people time, and also allowing people to waste mine, because you always have to remember, the one thing you can't get back is time. And so I'm very mindful who I give my time to, who I give my ear to, and my circle is very small, because you have to be kind of careful. I'm in the city, and so you and I'm from the country, so I tend to keep my circle very small. And so dating has not been great. It's been okay. It has its challenges like anything else. But at the end of the day, I believe wholeheartedly that whoever God has for me, I truly think he's going to find me. I don't think there's nothing for me to do on my end, or nothing that I need to do differently, but just wait on him. When you completely turn your life over to Jesus and you give him like full autonomy, you just kind of sit back and watch and just wait, because you already know whatever God has for you is for you. And so I am just waiting, walking in his will. And so I do have a few talking points. I'm trying to like not just be talking, I want to be talking about something. And so I would say my takeaway from my marriage would be, you know, be sure that, when you meet them, like, you should feel like, have those butterflies, have those, that gut feeling, like, how you feel something in your heart, in your head, and your stomach to say, God, he feels like the one, Lord. And then when you feel that, get on your knees and pray. Ask God, is this him? And if he truly is the person that God sent to you, you don't have to worry. You guys are gonna make it. You're gonna be together forever, and you're gonna get to happy. And so, it's hard to get to happy. Everybody knows marriage is. They say it's tough, and some people say it's easy. Catrice, says it's something that you have to work at. It's just two individuals, imperfect people trying to become one. And so when you have two people that was raised differently, that are different, you just have to make a decision. Okay, this is a partnership, because I view marriage as a partnership, not just marriage, because my person, we're going to be partners in whatever we're doing, not meaning that, he's not going to be the man, he's not going to make the decisions, but we're going to talk about a lot of decisions, and we're going to try to make them as a unit, because sometimes, when you, well, I'm going to say this, when you marry to a person that's older, you tend not to have a say sometimes. But, marriage is a beautiful thing, and I look forward to it my second time around, because when I get married again, there is no divorce. No. So I definitely have to marry somebody that understands what marriage means, and understand that Jesus called the church his bride, and that we both are going to be at a particular age, like, hey, this is it. We're done after this. It doesn't matter what we go through. We have to understand that whatever we go through is us against the problem, not us against each other. And so it's not that easy, but if you are determined to make something work, I don't care who you are, you're going to make it work. And so I want that in my second marriage, that determination, that fight, that something that says it doesn't matter what we go through, if we have to go to counseling, if never sleeping in separate bedrooms, we're going to talk it out, we're going to work it out, and understand, because I have been in relationships in the past where people don't fight fair. I've always felt like it's a way to argue, like going below the belt, like that's not cool. And so you have to be with the right person, because when you're with the right person, you don't have to worry about them like taking something you said and using it against you, or going below the belt just to hurt you. Because if somebody truly loves you, they're not going to be going there just to be saying things that just hurtful because they're mad at the time. Because as you know, and I know, that's very childish, so you don't want a childish person anyway. And so like I said before, I have no regrets about my ex-marriage. It happened, and I'm grateful because of it, because getting married and sharing your life with someone, whether the marriage work out or not, it is a beautiful thing. And I think it's a gift from God. All marriages don't work, sometimes divorce is necessary. And in my situation, it was truly necessary, because I felt as though I was getting to the point that I felt so lonely, and I felt like I was just I'm gonna be depressed if I don't get out of this. And so I cried out to God. I prayed. I said, Lord, I know you don't honor divorce, but I know this is not marriage. I know you want me to be happy, and I'm not happy. I'm dying here. And I just kept praying and praying, hoping something would change. And he ultimately gave me my confirmation. And so once I got that, I was like, but I'm not glorying in that. I'm not advocating for divorce or any of that. I'm just telling my story about what happened in my marriage and what led me to file into divorce. But there are no regrets. I'm thankful. And as I said before, sometimes, you can meet a good man that's great, that's mature, and that's a good, provider, and maybe even kind to you. But it does not mean that that person knows how to be a husband. Also, with a woman, you can meet a great woman. She can check off all the boxes, but that does not mean that she can be a good wife. Because I want to marry somebody that I admire, and I want my husband to admire me. In fact, I want him to thank God for me. Be like, honey, Jesus, you broke, woo, you done did it. And so you want somebody that's praying for you. You want to pray for your husband. I don't even know who this man is, and I'm praying for him. I pray for him all the time and that's okay, because that means I have faith. I have faith in God enough to know that whenever he send him, it's going to be the right person, and that's going to be the man I spend the rest of my life with. And so I'm waiting. I'm happy. I'm hopeful. And so I'm grateful as well. I'm so grateful. And I will be sharing a little bit more from week to week about my, divorce and things of that nature. I don't want to sit here and just be talking for 30 minutes. I understand that everyone's busy. And so I want to be respectful of your time as well. And once again, like I said, I'll be sharing a little bit more about me each week, a little bit more about my past, a little bit more in depth. But at the same time, like I said before, this is a journey that Jesus has me on, and so my goal is truly to say something that will brighten someone's day, to help somebody, to speak life into them. Or even if you're going through a divorce or went through a divorce, I promise you, you will come out on the other side if you have that relationship with the Lord. And when you're really sad and you're really distraught, just cry out to him, get on your knees and pray. And if you need to go to a counselor, go. If you need to go to church or attend whatever you need to do that's within scope of, Christianity and having that relationship, do. Because I'm here to tell you, divorce is no joke, and I'm on the other side of it. And if it wasn't for the Lord, I couldn't sit here and tell you that I have no regrets, that I'm thankful for that marriage, because it was amicable. There was no anger and fighting, because we were mature enough to know that it was over and our time was done. And so you have to be grateful for the time that you did share. And when it's over, it's just over. And it doesn't mean that that person was a bad person. My ex-husband is not a bad person. In fact, he's a great man. He just wasn't the man for me. That's all. That's all that means. I have nothing to say bad about him, other than he doesn't like the Steelers. But most of the people I talk to don't. And definitely talk about my Steelers. They truly are the love of my life, other than my daughter. And so thank you guys definitely for listening. And as I said before, please, 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 when you go on, subscribe, click notifications. It's a bell. Just hit that if you want to be notified when I'm posting my next video. And like I said, hopefully I'll get to the point where I might can do 2 a week. It's just that just going through my schedule when I have time available to share. And I'm so thankful to be able to share. It's coming from a very honest heart of transparency. And so I don't mind sharing my journey, because this is life. We're all on one. And so while I wait for my man, I'm going to keep smiling, and still I'm going to keep enjoying my life at the same time. So once again, guys, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and have fun, be safe. And until next week, continue to tune in to Treasures by Trees. And like I said, this is an inspirational podcast. I'm a Christian, but I'm a work in progress. So there you have it. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week.